Ladies and gentlemen, our opening ceremony is about to begin. Please stay in Zoom and make sure to turn your camera on. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wa bihi nasta'inu ala umurid dunya waddin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'du. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today, on the 7th of March 2024, marks the third day for Library and Information Science Study Program of Yarsi University's International Short Course 2024, which entitled Digital Transformation, Interplay of Technology, Culture, and the Role of Librarianship in the Global Era. This event has been organized to help students navigate themselves through digital transformation, the interplay of technology, culture, and the role of librarianship in the global era.
First of all, let us express our gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for the blessing which allow us to participate at the event in great condition. We also convey our sincere prayer and greeting to the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, whose intercession we await in Yaumul Qiyamah later. Amin ya Rabbal Alamin.
Excellency, the founder of Yarsi Foundation, Professor Dr. Journalist Udin PAK, Excellency, the Rector of Yarsi University, Professor Dr. Fasli Jalal PhD, Excellency, the Dean of Faculty of Information Technology Yarsi University, Dr. Umi Azizah Rahmawati Eskom MCom, Excellency, the Head of Library and Information Science, Indah Kurnianingsih SIP MP, and the distinguished for all the participants of the short course. Before we started, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Baik Sabrina, and here is my partner.
I'm Kaiza Namira. Ladies and gentlemen, in this afternoon we will have the several agenda as follow. First, the opening of Yarsi University Summer School 2024. Second, reading of Moderator's curriculum vitae. Third, the presentation of the first topic regarding fostering a vibrant reading culture, nurturing literacy, empathy, and knowledge, which will be presented by our guest speaker, Professor Dr. Sophia Vivian Adeyeye, PhD. Fourth, the discussion and documentation session.
Now, please allow us to read the curriculum vitae of our moderator this afternoon, Mr. Heri Samtani, SPD MHOM. He has a master's degree in literature. His teaching focus is on reading culture, and he has few researches about library representation, eco-criticism, reading culture, and gender study. He also a member of Proofreader at Bibliothèque Journal. Now, let's listen to the reading of our speaker CV this afternoon. To our moderator, Mr. Heri Samtani, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Baik and Kaiza. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very happy to see you again. I hope you guys still enjoy with today's agenda. And you know, this is the third day of Yarsi International Short Course. I need to say thanks to all the participants here for your consistency, for your kindness, your support, and also your respectful. Permit me to reintroduce myself. I'm Heri Samtani, lecturer from the Faculty of Information Technology, Universitas Yarsi. I'm your moderator today. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, now we come to our fifth session in day 3 of International Short Course with the theme Digital Transformation, Interplay of Technology, culture, and the role of librarianship in the global era. It's now my pleasure to introduce our fifth speaker, Dr. Sophia Adeyeye, PhD. She is a certified librarian of Nigeria, a lecturer at the Department of Information Management at the Lead City University, Ibadan, Nigeria, and had her bachelor's and master's degree from the Department of Library and Information Studies and PhD from the Department of School Library and Media Technology, University of Ibadan. Her research interests are in bibliotherapy, research data management, innovation and creativity in school library, indigenous knowledge list, pedagogy and information literacy. She has also attended to both national and international academic conferences where she presents scholarly papers. Today, Mrs. Sophia will talk about fostering a vibrant reading culture, nurturing literacy, empathy, and knowledge. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mrs. Sophia. Hello, good afternoon, Mrs. Sophia.
Good morning.
Hi.
It's 7 o'clock in the morning here in Nigeria.
In Indonesia, this is afternoon.
6 hours ahead.
Okay, Mrs. Sophia, nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Are you ready for your session today?
Yes, please.
Okay, here we go. Mrs. Sophia, time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Let me share my screen. Yeah. Okay. Once again, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where we are. Yes. Let me quickly reintroduce myself. I'm Sophia Adeyeye, and I'm a librarian, like you've heard earlier. And I'm grateful. I'm not taking it for granted for the invites. So let's quickly go through the lecture for today. Fostering a vibrant reading culture, nurturing literacy, empathy, and knowledge. I will use this diagram to explain it. Coming from reading, we have literacy, empathy, knowledge, which will lead to vibrant reading culture. There is a synergy between reading, literacy, empathy, and knowledge. There is a synergy between those four concepts. And when properly done, we eventually lead to vibrant reading culture. I will just quickly take us through reading and promotion of literacy. We all know that we cannot have literacy, we cannot have forming of words, we cannot have reading of books or reading culture without reading itself. So reading is the basis, is the foundation, the basis upon which we build whatever we want to become in life. It is reading that actually takes us it is reading that makes us to achieve whatever will be, our visions, our aspirations in life. So reading automatically becomes the foundation, the basis, whereby we lay every other foundation. And of course, literacy is the ability to decode, comprehend, have knowledge. So reading over time will allow us to be literate. Reading over time, it is from reading over a long period of time. It is through reading that we'll be able to decode, that we'll be able to comprehend. That is why we know that when I ask you to come, I'm asking you to come over to my place. When I ask you for a definition of something, as students, you'll be able to tell me, oh, this is let's assume I'm asking you now that what is the meaning of LIS? Because you've been reading over time, then it makes it easier for you to tell me that LIS is Library and Information Studies or Information Science, depending on what your school is using. Reading over time will allow you to acquire use of words. We allow you to acquire the ability to put words together to make a meaningful, to make a meaning. So literacy, like I said, is the ability to decode, to comprehend, and have knowledge and understanding of words. Reading over time will allow you, will give you that skill to know the meaning of every word that you pronounce, every word that you see. Reading over time will give you the ability to put together alphabets to be able to form words, and from words to sentences, and from sentences to paragraph, from paragraph to a full page, from a full page to a full book. That is what reading does to us. So reading plays an important role. We cannot overemphasize the role that reading plays when it comes to reading, when it comes to literacy, because it gives us exposure to language. And when we talk about exposure to language, we are actually looking at the grammar, we are looking at the structure, we are looking at
Mrs.
the
Sophia,
vocabulary.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for cut your speaking. May you full slide of your PowerPoint presentation in order to make it more it's bigger to the participant can see about your PowerPoint presentation.
You said I should do what?
Full screen of your
Full
PowerPoint.
screen.
Yeah.
Okay, full screen. Trying to see full screen.
A slideshow, I mean.
Yes.
Or maybe you want our operator to share
Please,
screen your presentation.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. I'm sorry, can you take down or you stop
Should I
share?
stop sharing? Should I stop sharing from my end? What am I supposed to do?
Okay, Mrs. Sophia.
Yes? Should I stop sharing so that the technical people there can share?
Okay, you can stop share screen and then our operator will share screen for
I've
you.
done that. I've done that.
Okay. Okay, thank you, operator. Okay, no, it's okay. It is good to the presentation. Okay, I think there is a process of our operator to share the PowerPoint screen. Okay. Yes.
Okay,
For
should I-
Mrs. Sophia, you can go forward to your presentation.
I'm so sorry for the interruption. So okay, I think it's good like this. So like I was saying that, reading plays a crucial role when it comes to promotion of literacy, because it is through reading over time that we're able to uh, garner in so many skills that will help us when it comes to reading and writing. Because you cannot just be proficient in reading or writing without being an avid reader. So you have to be an avid reader to be able to know how to, put words together in a meaningful way, construct sentences in a meaningful way. So reading and promotion of literacy complement each other. You cannot you can when you start reading over time, then you have the literacy skills that is needed. So you cannot promote literacy outside reading, and you cannot do reading outside book. So it's a symbiotic relationship. Everything works together, and it works, and it's working together like that. So reading and the promotion of literacy are complementary forces that work together to cultivate a society where individuals are empowered to reach their full potential through the power of the written words. So when it comes, that is why as teachers, as librarians, as Ministry of Education, everybody that sincerely loves education, we have to love reading and do everything to use reading to promote literacy. Next slide, please. Please, is asking a question here. I need to quickly answer that question. So in the reading ecosystem, we have basically about 8 people within the reading ecosystem. These are people that are, their roles are germane to reading. And when everybody does his or her own role, then we have a good reading culture within our society. You have the readers. When I talk about the readers, that is everybody, because we are all readers. No matter the level of your reading, from as soon as you learn to put words together, as soon as you learn to put alphabets together to form words, to form sentences, then you become a reader. So for everybody in the society, we are all readers, and we are the most important in the reading ecosystem. You have parents and guardians, you have librarians and educators, institutions, authors and publishers. Authors and publishers, they become very important to the ecosystem, because they are the ones that will produce what we are going to read within the reading ecosystem. So there is need for the regulators. Let me put it. There is need for the regulators to be very careful from authors and publishers, because when cost and profit is placed ahead of interest in reading, then it becomes a problem. Then we have the media, the technology, and the companies. We all know the impact of media on our students, even on everybody in the community nowadays. We all know the impact of media on every of our courses, of everybody, not even about the courses now. The impact of media, especially the social media, on reading is huge. So they become important part of the reading ecosystem. Then we have the community organization, or the NGOs. The NGOs are doing a lot when it comes to reading promotion and the promotion of literacy. And of course, we have the grandfather of it all, which is the government. So working together, everybody in the reading ecosystem must work together to create a synergy that fosters reading, promotes knowledge acquisition, and empower all to become a lifelong learner. There's no point being an avid reader, or when you promote literacy, when you read, you promote literacy, you do everything, all the programs. It is because we are looking forward to have a lifelong learner. A lifelong learner. A lifelong learner is a plus and a win for the society. Next slide, please. So we have different strategies. These are just coming from me. We can have more, but these strategies are actually targeted towards the students. As librarians or LIS educators, we have our own strategies. But the students themselves, they must be able to come up with something that could help them to become, a lifelong learner. They must be able to come up with something that they can use to affect their immediate community, which is the university environment, the university community. And apart from that, it could even extend to outside the university community. Number one, the very first one is, as LIS students, you must learn how to volunteer. You must be able to give back to your immediate environment, to your immediate community, and the larger community at large. When you are doing this, you are promoting literacy. When you volunteer at after-school programs or literacy centers, that means within your university, if you have literacy centers within your university, then you can volunteer there. You can help out, one, maybe your professor, if your professor has any program that he or she is promoting to promote literacy, you can be part of that this thing. When I was in the university, my professor had a reading program whereby every Saturday morning, we all have schedules to attend to this program. And what do we do at that program? When we get there, we bring together children in that community and we encourage them to read. If they are able to read 3, 4, 5 pages, we reinforce them by, we have ways of uh, we praise them, we reinforce them with good words, and after like a quarter of that program, they will be given a certificate. So over time, we other students had interest, and we had, at the end of the year, the attendance for that program really, really rose. So you can do that. You can volunteer at the literacy centers, whereby you bring students together to read and find new words, meaning to new words, and all that, this thing like that. You can offer peer tutoring on campus. You can start a book club on campus. I started a book club as early as elementary school. Then there is this famous five. I don't know if you've come across that storybook, Famous Five. It was that Famous Five series that I used then to start a book club. So, but that book club was within my family, not even in the community. So, but after the dawn of our house chores in the home, we come together. We are about five, my siblings, my sisters and my brothers. We come together to read maybe a chapter of a particular book. So you can start that too. You are promoting literacy among diverse population. And we all know that inclusiveness and diversity is the in now where we are all going to. You can host storytelling. You can host storytelling. I'm not your friend. You can host storytelling, within the rules and regulation of your university. You can host storytelling. As a department, you can host storytelling. As a department, you can host an author, where you will review the book, the storybook, or a self-help book. You can organize a readathon. You can organize a readathon. You can also organize fundraising to help out community schools, libraries of community schools. You can start a book blog or a social media page. You know, instead of channeling your energy to something that is not productive. These are things when you channel your energy towards, you'll be you will actually be affecting lives positively. And you can advocate for literacy initiatives, advocacy. You can do that. For all this, there are things that are doable, there are objectives that you can achieve, and they are not, for all this, you are not even going to spend a dime. You are not spending any money to achieve any of this. These are things you can do, within your means. And like I said, it must be within the regulation, the rules and regulation of your university. In all, don't forget, whatever you are doing, any of the projects you want to embark on, be inclusive, be culturally sensitive. Be inclusive, because why am I saying you should be inclusive? You are not the only one in the surface of the earth. There are other people that might not really be who you are, that are not, within the, listen, I'm emphasizing that whatever you are doing should be within the rules and regulation of your university. And most importantly, focus on the joy of reading. Focus on the joy of reading. You are not reading because you are pressurized to read. You are reading because reading has become part and parcel of you. You are reading because you enjoy reading. And whatever you are doing, any of the program, focus on the joy of reading. And that will help you a lot. Collaborate with others. Open up to others. You cannot do it all alone. When two people come together to do a particular thing, they achieve more, because where you are not, you could skip a particular process and the other person will point it out to you. So that you'll be able to exchange ideas, you'll be able to collaborate, exchange ideas. The world is open now. There is something we call open science, open access, open data. The world is really, really open. And as LIA students, you should be open to collaboration. I remember when at the planning stage of this activity, Miss Ida, I don't know if I got her right, said, oh, she will appreciate if the students in my university could attend, but I couldn't get clearance from my university. That is openness. That is inclusiveness. Be open. Like my coming here today to talk to you, that is inclusiveness, that is openness, because you have several LIS educators in Indonesia that can do even more than what I'm doing now. But you have decided to be open, you have decided to be inclusive. That's why you are bringing a Black, an African, a Nigerian to come and talk to you. That is enough openness, and I'm grateful for that. So as LI students, you can come together as a group, do this under the supervision of your lecturer, your professor, and within the rules and regulation of your university. Next slide, please. So, developing empathy through reading. This is the best part for me, because like I said, I'm a bibliotherapist. I help people with books. Just like when one is sick, you go to the hospital. I can help. I could help people to get through emotional issues, bullying, sexual issues, academic issues through reading of books. And it could be two types of books. Is that storybook or self-help books? How do we develop empathy through reading? You can only develop empathy through reading when you are guided, when there is an intention, and you stayed within that intention. It's a process. It's a process. And we all know we cannot look away from empathy with the way things are running now. We have a whole lot of things going on around us, because people have refused to see the other people as human beings, because people have as selfish because we have a lot of people that are not considerate. And the only time you can really, really be empathetic is when you put yourself in that person's shoe. You can be sympathetic and not empathetic. There's a clear difference between this sympathetic and being empathetic. So how do we develop this through reading? We develop empathy through reading when we put ourselves into the character of the book. You must be, that is why I will say it and I say it over and over again. What we read, we become what we read. So we must guide our souls. We must guide our being jealously by what we are exposed to. Not just reading alone. What you watch, the movie, the music you listen to, the music you watch, the kind of books you read, has ways of rubbing off on you. And that is why as children of God, as we must be careful of the things we are exposed to. And that is why you say, I don't know if I'm permitted to say this. In the global north, most of the countries in the global north, they have issues with their youths because they are exposed. There is this kind of freedom that, you can do whatever you want, you can do this, you can do that. So basically, I want to tell you that there is power in reading and there's power in storytelling. Because what you do every day has ways of affecting you. Whatever you read every day, the movie you see every day, the kind of music you listen to every day, how we are wired, how the brain is wired. Brain has ways of retaining those things and playing it back to us. And that is where empathy will come in. If you read a book now, a story book on a child that was, maybe the child was bullied, depending on the storyline, for you to experience empathy, you must go through these 4 stages of bibliotherapy. Identification, that is, you must be able to identify with a particular character in that book. After identifying the character of the book, there's something we call catharsis. Catharsis is release of emotion. Maybe, if what happened to that main character, if I've gone through what happened to that main character, then upon realization, there will be release of emotion because I've gone through what the main character has gone through, or maybe I'm going through what the main character has gone through. Then that will provide me an insight into what I will do with the situation. Taking lessons from the story. Taking lessons from the story to form a decision. That means you'll be forming an informed decision. That decision will be coming from a place of information. And universalization is a way of accepting that you are not alone. No matter what you have gone through in life, you are not alone. There are people that have gone through it. There are people that are going through it. There are people that will still go through it. So there is this acceptance that, okay, I'm in this situation, and that person, the storybook you are reading or the self-help book will help you to now make decisions, and that is where empathy comes in. That is where ability to identify, ability to read and release emotions, ability to make informed decision, and ability to understand that you are not alone. You are not alone. You cannot be alone in this world. There are other people, somewhere else that have gone through, that will go through, that are going through similar situation. And that is why I will advise you as young people that you always reach out. Reach out to your counselors in your school. Reach out to the librarians in your school. Reach out to an identified adult. You cannot be alone. You cannot solve your problems alone. You cannot do all these things alone. Even as an adult, your professors, they know they cannot do it alone. We learn to reach out to other people and to an informed adult, please, to an informed adult. So with it's a process and there are activities around it. It's a big topic on its own that we cannot exhaust within the stipulated time. So please allow me to move to the next slide, please. Next slide, please. So we are looking at reading beyond recreation. Reading because you read for pleasure and you read to attain academic powers. So looking at reading beyond recreation, looking at reading that is not reading for pleasure. Now we are looking at serious reading for you to pass exams, reading for you to put your paper together. Maybe you have a seminar, maybe you are a team lead, maybe you are asked to come and talk about something, maybe anything. Even when you want to write a story, I'm encouraging you to start putting things together. You can have a journal, like a big book where you put your thoughts, your ideas. You can know those thoughts, the ideas later on in life, you can put them together to start your own writing thing. So we are looking at reading beyond pleasure. We are looking at reading beyond pleasure. We are looking at reading beyond recreation. You are not reading now to relax. At times when you are uptight, when you have done, you have gone through so many activities, you could really do with reading to relax. But now we are looking at reading as a gateway to knowledge. You cannot be knowledgeable when you don't read. I tell my children at home, I tell them when I don't have to force you to read. When you are not an avid reader, if you are not reading regularly, you are not taking reading seriously, then you won't be able to excel. You will just be an average student. Because you will rely on residual knowledge. Residual knowledge cannot take you anywhere. You will just be an average student. So we are looking at reading as a gateway to knowledge. And that is the truth. Nothing but the truth. No coloration, nothing. We are not adding any additive to this. Reading is a serious business, and if you want to get up there, if you want to really achieve things in life, you have to read. You have to see reading as a gateway to knowledge. It is through reading that you gain knowledge. It is through reading that you pass your exams. That is the only way to pass exams, when you read. When you are not reading, then you are setting yourself up for failure. You are setting yourself up for ridicule. You are setting yourself up for so many things in life. So reading is a gateway to knowledge. Reading gives you deep understanding. Deep understanding. It exposes you to diverse perspectives. You understand when you read. Like now, I've never been to Indonesia, but this activity made me to go and read up about Indonesia. I have a friend from Indonesia that we do a lot of things together, but I've never been there. But just to acclimatize myself to your university, to your place, I had to read up about it. So reading has taken me to Indonesia, even though I've not been there physically. That is what reading does. It takes you to somewhere that you are not even thinking of going to. It takes you to it brings in diverse perspective, diverse location, diverse culture, diverse religion, and other stuff like that. It improves your communication skill. This is reading, these are things you get when you read beyond recreation. It develops your critical reading thinking skills. Critical reading has something to do with ability to comprehend, to understand. When you read anything, when you have that critical skills, the critical reading skills or the thinking skills, when you read anything, you're able to understand, you're able to decode, understand, and put it together in a better or good perspective. And of course, it boosts your mental well-being. When you read, it boosts your mental well-being. Don't forget that. Next slide, please. So I'm going to quickly go through different initiatives and programs that has been used to promote reading culture. The first one I'm looking at is from Indonesia. Indonesia Children Literacy Foundation is a non-profit organization that aims to develop a reading culture and the love for reading for elementary school age. Look at that, it has a target. The target there is elementary school age children throughout Indonesia. I read this and you could tell me if it is true or not, because they have impacted. They have impacted. The results are out there. So this particular foundation provides training, provides support, and implements, the government policy when it comes to reading of children within Indonesia. They also, they provide support to include the provision of quality reading books, learning support materials. They also give support when it comes to teaching and learning process, because they give teachers guide, to use within the classroom and libraries in Indonesia. So, and I also learned that they have worked with children book writers and illustrators and assist with their skills development to meet with the needs for innovative and enriching experiences through literacy. You see that when you have any reading program is channeled towards literacy. Any reading program is channeled. That is the only thing you want to achieve. And of course, when you develop literacy, you are developing reading culture. And reading culture, in any sane society, having a good reading culture is a win-win situation for that society. So I love this. I love what this Indonesian Children Literacy Foundation is doing for reading and reading culture. That is you have their websites on the screen. You can also, you can volunteer. If they are very close to you during your vacation, you can volunteer. Your school could come up with the foundation and reach out to students, to children that are downtrodden. You can do that too. So next slide, please. Yes, and they have a model. I love their model. They have a model. They are developing passion, habits, and culture of reading. They have like two broad aims: developing habits. They are developing passion, habits, culture of reading. They are also developing skills by listening, by reading and writing, by speaking. They are developing skills and they are developing passion. That is the broad listing. They have other ones, and they have about 2 or 3 programs, but the program I love best is this balanced reading program. That is the model for the balanced reading program. So that is why I put up the website on the other slide. You can go through it and see how you can adopt or adapt the balanced reading program. Next slide, please. The second initiative is from the Network of Book Clubs and Reading Culture Promoters in Nigeria. They do that. That is like what the other one from Indonesia is doing. They celebrate all international book days. I know in March we have the World Book Day. Is that we celebrate it in March or April? We have other activities around books. several activities around books. So for these people, they do that, they help to establish and help to promote and sustain reading culture in Nigeria. And they are working through the book clubs, several book clubs. So they are like an umbrella body that regulates and help the school clubs to achieve the set goals and objectives. The website is also there. You can go there and see what they are doing. Please, the next initiative, please. Next slide, please. Yes, this is another one. This is another one. I love this because their aim is to cultivate a love of reading in children. You see, most of these initiatives are aimed towards children, whereas we have other people. There is one from Bologna that targeted other kind of category of people in the society, but this is also towards children. The initiative, Reading Rocket employs several strategies to reach out to. Why I love this is that they are not just reaching out to children alone. They're also reaching out to the parents. They're reaching out to the educators and caregiver, offering resources and guidance. So how do they do this? They choose age-appropriate books, they create literacy-rich environment, they engage children in interactive storytelling, and provide diverse reading materials, modeling reading behavior. This modeling reading behavior can come under the empathy something, that is when you can model behavior, or there's something we call behavioral change when you read a particular book systematically. So they have impacted a lot of children and families through their websites, publication, professional development programs, and so forth and so on. And the main aim is that they are promoting reading and laying foundation for lifelong learners. That is it. Whatever we are doing now, whatever your university is doing, your university is laying foundation for you to become a lifelong learner. That is the primary aim of bringing people together to teach them to read, to teach them to face their studies. The university is investing in you so that you become a lifelong learner. It is a lifelong learner. It is somebody that is a lifelong learner that is useful to the society. You'll be useful to yourself, to the society, and to your school as well, to your university as well. Next slide, please. There is this one from Colombia, like I told you, transforming life through library. There was a particular time in the life of Colombia that they faced challenges with violence, poverty, and limited access to education. It was at this time that this initiative started, and they've been able to impact, through the libraries, they've been able to impact and have a vibrant community hub, offering early childhood literacy program, after-school programs for youth, public computers and internet access, and also cultural events. You'll be, the library now, libraries have moved from being hubs of books alone to maker spaces. Libraries are maker spaces now. That means within the library, you get to do so many things. You can learn how to bake, you can learn how to sew, you can learn how to make so many things in the library. So that is the fourth initiative, and I have the fifth one. Please, the next slide. Yes, this fifth one, I'm involved in this fifth one. There was a particular year we went for a conference, and we came together, about 4 of us, and 2020, when we had COVID-19 lockdown, it was sudden, and we felt, instead of not doing anything at all, we couldn't go to work, and we are in different location. We came together, we had a meeting, and we said, okay, how do we impact our community, our society as librarians? So we fashioned out a reading program where we read to each other's students. I, as a Nigerian, got to read to Indonesian children. The other one from Indonesia read to Finland children, and it was like that. We're able to achieve that during the lockdown in 2020. And even up till now, we are still together doing so many things together. The next slide, the next slide, the next slide. So this, at the four of us, Maria Fedikola is from Indonesia, Tonka Lujanak is from Croatia, Maya Abdul is from Malaysia, and of course, Sophia from Nigeria. Next slide. And these are the virtual storytelling sessions we've had. We've had in Finland, we've had in Croatia, in Nigeria, Iceland, Malaysia, Turkey, Greece, and Indonesia. So we've had all this. Virtually, we've been able to read to school children virtually. We've been able to read to school children virtually. So as librarians in making, as LI students, the training that you are exposed to in library school is enough to give you the skills you need to promote reading and reading culture. We have that skill through all the courses that we are being taught in the library school. When you're in the library school, you are exposed to different courses, and you should be looking out for skills in those courses that you can use to promote reading culture. This is what technology has helped us to achieve. Technology has helped us to achieve virtual storytelling. That means I don't have, like now, technology has helped me to achieve this. I'm not there physically, but I can still impart. Likewise, you are not there physically, so you should look at the good side of technology and use it appropriately. Appropriate use of technology, please. Appropriate, underline, appropriate use of technology. Thank you. Next slide. And we have the sixth one, which is book work. Your university can organize a book work. We do it a lot in Nigeria, and this year we make it the fourth year. Yes, this year we make it the fourth year, and it has been consistent since 2020. The lockdown really, the lockdown brought out creativity in people. The lockdown brought out a lot of creativity in people. So next slide, please. So how do we foster reading culture? Creating and engaging reading spaces, that is non-negotiable. Engaging reading spaces. When we talk of engaging reading spaces, we are not just looking at books, we are looking at the environment. Like I said, libraries have moved away from just shelving and shelf reading. Now, with the aid of technology, with the aid of skills, libraries are now maker spaces where children, adults, young adults can come and learn how to do things. So we must create engaging reading spaces when we want people to read. The atmosphere, the environment must be conducive. Then you can organize reading events and programs, collaborate with communities and schools, leverage on technology. There is nothing you can do now without technology. So get to know how to use technology within your school rules and regulations, within, responsibly. Yes, let me put it down, underline. Use technology responsibly, and use it to promote reading this thing. If you're on social media, if your school is allowing that, then there is a course in my university evaluating social media use, and we have used that to change the narrative, because we have encouraged our students that instead of going with the crowd, instead of following the crowd to do something nasty, you can actually use that to promote reading, to promote things that will rub off positively on the community, to denounce so many things. And we have seen that it's really good for them because we have a good percentage working on that as their project now, as their final project. Then there is digital literacy and access consideration. When I mean access consideration, I'm talking about ethical use, ethical consideration. Whatever we are doing, we must not look away or shy away from ethics within LIS. Next slide, please. So this cannot be overemphasized. Roles of libraries and librarians can go on that. Library stands as beacon of knowledge, no doubt about that. You know, we make, even with ICT thing, there is still need for librarians to push out narratives. Whatever your university is putting up together can only get out through the library, because librarians have skills that could help us, everybody, to get to where we intend to get to when it comes to creating content and putting it out there for accessibility, preservation, and accessibility in the future. Libraries ensure access. Libraries offer engaging programs and initiatives, soft skills program, a lot of program, reading program, a lot, orientation, a lot. I can go on and on, just to, research support program, a lot of program that as libraries and librarians that we can help to keep the fire of reading and, helping to create the reading culture. A lot of program we have to be creative and innovative enough to know that it is our role and duties to achieve this. And right from the library school, you could and should be doing that right from the library schools. So libraries and librarians play an enduring and significant role when it comes to promoting literacy and further, enhancing and enriching the reading culture of the community. Next slide, please. Challenges and barriers. Like every other thing, there are challenges, there are barriers to attaining reading culture. And, we have the digital distraction, which is happening to every category of individual in the society. You have the distraction from social media, video games, streaming services. We have short attention span. Some students, some individuals have short attention spans, and we have to take that into consideration. They cannot be engaged for a long period of time, and that is why we have to make our lecture, our activities engaging enough. It is not about the number, it is not about the hours, it's about, making it engaging, so that no matter how short or how long we are with them, they will still have things to go back to hold on to. Then we have accessibility issues. Other than that, I'm looking at cost of books, I'm looking at literacy challenges, I'm looking at lack of access to libraries. Some people, some individuals, some children don't have access to libraries because of maybe the community they belong to. They don't have access to libraries so that is really, really a big challenge. Then we have the cultural and the social factor too. And under that, I'll be looking at negative perception to reading, lack of encouragement and guidance, the limited representation in literature. What do I mean by that? Because you cannot allow your students or your children to read everything online or in literature. There is need for you to guide them. And authors nowadays, like when I was explaining the stakeholders in the book ecosystems, some authors, they write for the profits. They are not writing for the good of the society. So most of the books are not even talking about morals. And these are the things we should be exposing our children to. the student to know things on morals, things that could edify them, not things that could expose them to the other, that could expose them to immoral things. So next slide, please. I don't know if I can have this activity. Moderator, can I have this activity, or should I just ask them randomly? Or you have to do that from your own end?
Okay, I'm sorry, Mrs. Sophia. My speaker off. Mrs. Sophia, you have about 30 minutes to present.
Okay. And okay, I want to ask them to share their thoughts and experiences with reading. Maybe one or two of them can share their thoughts and experiences with reading, and the kind of book they like to read, and how often they read outside their academic requirements. That's the first question. Just maybe a person or two can just answer that. I won't take much of their time. Maybe a student to each activity, so that we just move. Okay, will you handle it from your hand? Let's go on if you will handle it from your hand. Okay, the next slide, that's the activity for that this thing, but let's go on, handle it from your side. So what's the way forward? The way forward, organize a book club or reading group within the class. Within your class, you can organize this. You can invite authors or guest speakers to share their experiences and insights on reading. Also, be encouraged to participate in library events or book-related community activities. That is the way forward for us to achieve this, for us to be able to hold on to the tempo of reading, which will lead to promotion of literacy, to empathy, and of course, knowledge. In all, it will help us to foster a good reading culture. We must be involved in all this for us to be able to do that. That is, for me, the way forward, they could allow students to put an ending to anything. They can, with what we have had today, with what I've said today, they can also come forward with their own way forward. They can put it into writing, put it down, meet you as faculty members to tell you their own decision about what they want to do. Next slide. In conclusion, reading culture, promotion of literacy are interdependent forces that work together to create a literate and engaged society by fostering a love of reading and ensuring everybody have access to the tools and resources they need to succeed. We can unlock the potentials of individuals and communities to grow. With all this, we can unlock it. And the last one is that a thriving reading culture holds a strong positive association with both empathy and knowledge. A healthy reading culture can play a significant role in fostering empathy, expanding knowledge, and creating a well-rounded individuals. And these are what we want. We want a well-rounded individuals in our society. So getting it right and getting engaged will help us to achieve this. The last slide. My takeaway. Let's not be afraid to start with small things. Even small steps encourage us to make changes, generate new ideas, and engage in diverse activities. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Sophia, for your insightful presentation. Okay, so now we are going to the discussion session. So to all the participants, you may deliver the question by raise your hands. Note that please raise your hands first before delivering your question. Okay, hello everyone. So to all participants, I think you have so many question. Okay, this okay. Susilo Teguh. Yeah. Susilo Teguh, you can deliver the question. The operator can unmute. Okay, yes, please.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Harry Santani, for letting me ask some question to the speaker. This is a great opportunity that I have today. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Ms. Sophia, for the great matter that you bring today. Okay, my name is Susilo Teguh, and I am from Yarsi University, majoring Library and Information Science. Okay, moving on to the question. In this session, we have talked about reading content such as nurturing literacy, empathy, and knowledge. Here's the thing. As a library and information science student, I'm really concerned about reading culture in Indonesia, specifically on young generation. Cultivating a reading culture is very challenging for the young Indonesian generation. Perhaps you can tell us, is there any book, a digital research, or any resources that we can use as a guideline for designing a reading culture program in Indonesia for our young generation? Thank you.
Yes, my understanding, am I in line with you that I should recommend a book that you can use to develop reading culture? Is that what you are asking?
Yes, that's totally right.
No, you can develop, you have to work around the curriculum in LIS. There is no hard and fast rule about developing reading culture. Like I said, if that was why I put those the website addresses of those initiatives. Developing a culture is when you continually engage in something. That means for you to develop a reading culture, you have engaged your audience in different activities over time, continuously over time. Do you get it now? So you have to design a program that is acceptable within the locality. When I was in the university, every Saturday we have a locality, like let me say underrepresented locality that we go to every Saturday to read to the children. Doing so over time, we're able to foster a reading culture within them. And you see, creating a reading culture is not just about reading alone. You have to look at other activities like game, anything that will help the memory, anything that will develop their mental well-being. It could be detection. It could be, this new word formation. It could be, you have different activities that you pack together, and you don't have to overload it. Let it be simple, and there must be consistency. You must be able to follow through, continuously. Consistency is the key word. So there is no hard. Hello.
Okay. Yeah, there is something terrible. Okay, Mrs. Sophia, you can go forward your answer. Okay. Hello, Mrs. Sophia. the operator can unmute Mrs. Sophia in order to Mrs. Sophia can answer.
Okay, have I answered the question?
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Sophia, for the great answer. Now I know how to pass the challenging reading culture, specifically on young Indonesian generation. Thank you so much once again.
Okay, thank you Susilo Teguh, and thank you for Mrs. Sophia for your answer. And now I think there is so much people or so much participants wants to deliver the question again. Anyone who wants to deliver the question, you can raise your hand. Okay, Ramadhani. Yes, please, you can turn on your microphone.
Assalamualaikum, Miss Sophia. Good afternoon. My name is Siti Ramadhani. You can call me Rana. My question is, what are some effective strategies for promoting literacy among cultural diverse population?
You said what are the words?
What are the effective strategies for promoting literacy among culturally diverse population?
Yes, it is still same strategies, but you have to just be diligent enough to know that there are other people within the community. You have to be diligent enough to understand that. Do you get now? So it is same like for me coming today to tell you about things. I didn't put anything, your school, your university was just diverse enough to understand that. So there is a personal factor coming into that. You accepting the other people to be who they are because that is the way they are created. To accept other. I'm not asking you to. I'm not asking you to practice whatever they are practicing, but accepting and just leaving them the way they are. What you want to do is what you should look at for. That is embedding reading culture in them. So, accepting them. So it is same strategy. But the main thing is that as an individual, you have to have respect for other people, other people's culture, color, value, and while you are preserving yours, but you have to have respect for who they are. And that is the only way you can get through to them.
So, from what I can get, the strategy is just to be respectful to other people, Miss Sophia?
You said what?
From what I heard, you said, like, you have to respect every value of the individuals in order for the strategies, the promoting literacy among the culturally diverse population. Is that correct?
Yes, please.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sophia.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you Rana for your question. Anyone who wants to deliver a question again? Don't hesitate to raise your hand and you can deliver your question. Okay, I think so much people.
On the chat box.
Okay, I will check. Okay, there is a question from chat column from Fajar Sidik. Fajar Sidik, do you want to on microphone in order to speak? What do you want to?
Good afternoon, Mr. Sophia. I want to ask how college library in Nigeria support their students to love reading. Thank you.
Yes, there are different initiatives right from the government to individuals to NGOs. In Nigeria, there's something we call TED Fund. debt funds make funds available to libraries. Then apart from that, the we in the college library, you have to work with the faculty members, because with the use of technology, students don't really have to go to the library. But when you work with the faculty members, where they are given assignments, and they have to use the library skills to do such assignments, you be encouraging and encourage them to visit the library. When you give them assignments that are library based, because I tell you, because of technology, students really don't have to be in the libraries, because whatever. But as librarians, for us, why we are different from Google is that why Google will give you 1,000,000 answers to your query, a librarian will give you to near perfect answers to your query. So I'm the head of departments in my university, and I encourage faculties, the faculty member, to give students assignments that will take them to the library, so that they will learn some skills. There are some skills that only librarians will teach them, so that they use that to learn those skills that will help them when it comes to research, that will help them when they want to write reports, research writing, how to access, how to do your literature search, how to do your referencing, the use of all these Mendeley and other things. So I encourage faculties to give them assignment based on that, so that they will be forced to go to the library. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Sophia. Okay, there is someone who wants to ask again. Fajar Adrian. Fajar Adrian, you can.
Yes. Good afternoon, Miss Sophia. I have a question for you. The question is, how can educators ensure that literacy materials and resources reflect the cultural diversity of their students?
Please come again.
Fajar, can you up your volume?
Oh, okay. How can educators ensure that literacy materials and resources reflect the cultural diversity of their students?
That's a tricky one. That how can educators ensure that literacy resources meet with cultural diversity of their students? Yes, whatever we are doing, for me, the first one is respect for other people's culture. Respect for other people's culture. And that is the only way we can achieve. When you want to do literacy drive, you want to ask somebody to be involved in reading, you want to promote reading, then you must respect that person's, there is strength in diversity. So we should learn to manage it, that you are not just alone. There are other people on the surface of the earth. The earth does not belong to you alone. So when you respect other people's culture, I think every other thing will just fall into it. But like I said, I will still repeat it. It should still be within the school rules and regulation. Because at times, some people can be harmful while they are trying to push the narrative of diversity and going against rules and regulation. So, but all things being equal, respecting other people's culture will make every other things easier within. Don't forget, I will always say that within the rules and regulation. That's it for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Sophia, for the answer.
Okay, thank you, Fajar, for your question. And I think all of this enough for the questioner. to ask the question, but there is our lecturer also concerned in reading culture, and also as our chairman, Ibu Indah Kurnianingsih. Ibu Indah Kurnianingsih, do you want to discuss something to Mrs. Sophia?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Harry Santani. Hello, Sophia.
Hi, thank you.
Okay, I'm Ina. I want to say big thanks that we feel very honored that you can attend and be willing to spend your time as a speaker in this activity. And I know it's not easy for you because the difference time, 6 hours between Nigeria and Jakarta, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for your nice sharing and presentation about the reading culture. I feel your enthusiasm for encouraging reading culture around us. And my question is, what do you think the role of parents in instilling a reading culture at home? Yeah, and because I feel parents is the first school for their kids. Yeah, especially to instill the reading culture. What about in Nigeria? Is it the government give specially attention to all the parents to educate the kids that they can improve their reading culture since since at home? What do you think?
Yes, I'm going to talk briefly about Nigeria. Uh, Nigeria government will formulate policy. That is for them to do. Formulate policy and see to the implementation of the policy. But I tell people in all respect that our children are not government children. At the end of the day, our children are ours to take. And as parents, when I was explaining the other time, as stakeholder, I listed parents as stakeholders because the first school that a child goes to is in the parent's house before attending any school. But you see, because of the economic situation, some parents are really, in the course of looking for how to maintain the home, money to do this, they left children unattended to. And I want to say it without missing words that the issues we have with our children, the youth, are because parents are neglecting their roles for schools. In the ecosystem, we all have roles to play. While the school is playing our own role within the active hours that the child is in school, those unactive hours, the active hours that the children are at home, the parents too should ensure that their home roles are not, that they are able to do their own roles, let me put it that way. But because of the economic situation in Nigeria, I don't know how it's being done over there. Most parents, especially mothers, are out of the home looking for money to feed the children. So leaving the children to be on their own, which is a no-no for me. But right from the beginning, the children, they get to see the mother first within the home setting the first 4, 5, 6 years. And that is enough time to gently guide the students, the children. So apart from the school doing their roles, I think parents have a lot to do when it comes to instilling discipline, reading, because it takes a lot of discipline for a child to read. It is not easy to read. So it takes, combination of efforts. It's not just about the school. You can only force a child, but the reading should come from within the child. If you want to really achieve something with the child, the reading should come within the reading should be something that is acceptable to that child. It should be acceptable to the child. And that is the only time we foster a vibrant reading culture. So that children will not just read to pass exams. I want a situation where students will read because they want to read, not because they are forced to read, not because they just want to pass that semester exam. When you read like that, then that person will not be a lifelong learner. A lifelong learner is a person that is dedicated to reading, reading beyond pleasure, reading beyond pressure and pressure. So that is it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Sophia. Yeah, it can be concluded or it means that the parents should be the first model for their children.
Yes. And for me, when I'm reading, when my children are reading, I read also. I read
Yeah, I do agree.
because after reading, they could be, children can be smart. We do review just to encourage them. So it is not that it is not that you are just opening a book and pretending you are reading. If it's for 30 minutes, I tell them how many before reading, they know they have to tell me, oh, mommy, I'm spending an hour, 40 minutes. I don't care about the minutes. But whatever minutes you are giving to me that you are reading, I'm also there reading with you. And even if I'm not there, the moment I come in, then we review what have you done today. You must be able to tell me everything, the activities right from the school. What happened to you in school today, blah, 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 things like that. Then, did you read at all? Yes. Okay, what did you read? Then we'll talk about it. But, the good thing for us as librarians, because I'm a librarian, is that we have little knowledge about everything. All this little knowledge. So why he or she is talking to me, trying to relate and contributing my own, oh, how did you feel? And like I said, I always allow them to have their own ending. What did you feel about this? Okay, this is what this thing is saying, but from you, did you think this has ended well? How do you think this should end? So it has always been like that for me.
Yes, right. Okay, thank you, Sophia. Yeah.
Thank you. Then I want to sincerely recognize Anita Akpobaro.
Yes.
She's from Nigeria. Love you.
So some of your students join this course. Yeah.
I'm in Dubai. I work as a librarian also.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
All right, well done.
Okay, very interesting and very fun for we because we know that reading culture is very interesting and we should to increase our reading interest in Indonesia especially. Okay, I think all of this enough. Thank you so much
Then
for
I think I
Mrs.
should be
Sophia.
collaborating with you.
That's all right.
Yes, because I saw your this thing as reading culture. We can collaborate, and
Okay.
the world is open now. So everything is open in the world now. So let's collaborate, please.
Yes,
Okay.
of course.
We will talk about later. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so
So we
much,
can
Mrs.
We can
Sophia.
have a paper or two together.
Thank you for thank you for taking time to be here with us. I hope we will see you again, and we can join again in our collaboration.
Thank you.
And after this, we have photo session. But
Oh,
before
that's
we go
great.
there,
Yes.
yes, of course. Okay, thank you. Before we go there, I will call back again to our host today, Kaiza and Baik.
Thank you, Professor Sophia, for sharing your insightful knowledge by the course session. And thank you for Mr. Harry Samtani for leading our main agenda this afternoon. Before we taking a break session, we must have a photo session first. So for our audience, please set your camera on. For the first slide, 1, 2, 3. The second slide, 1, 2, 3. The third slide, 1, 2, 3. For the first slide, 1, 2, 3. The next slide, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for all of your attention, and kindly access the materials and other activities on Layar Yarsi through your respective account, which have been sent by the committee via email. And we kindly remind you to fill the attendance link via Google Form that will be sent in the Zoom chat. Once again, we kindly remind you all to fill the attendance Google Form link that will be sent via Zoom chat.
Now we finally reached the final agenda of today's event. To close the third day of this short course, let's recite Hamdalah together.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin.
Last but not least, from the deepest of our heart, we kindly apologize if we made some mistake in presenting this event. Thank you very much for your kind attention, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.